All right, guys, it's me, Eric Esteban, and we are back one more time for another episode of Miscellaneous and Brown. And this time we have a very, very special guest. We have the National Communications Co-Director of FilAms for Harris, Michelle Amor. And I'm bringing her on right now. Boom! Live
Hi.
from New York,
Live
Queens,
from
New
New
York.
York. Yeah, that's right.
Welcome to Miscellaneous and Brown, Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to introduce you to my audience because we've been
Mhm.
friends for a minute. We were
Mhm.
helping each other with Steve. We gave Steven Raga a little karaoke comedy boost with
Yes.
Model Majority and all the cats from New York. And
Oh, that was
shout
fun.
out to so many of the people that participated in that show. And that's where we
Mhm.
met.
Yes.
But you are now the National Communications Co-Director of FilAms for Harris. You just reached 1,000 followers. It's so quick at
Yeah.
Instagram. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. And 2K
But
followers on TikTok. Heading
see,
somewhere.
I mean, but people don't understand how important your
Mhm.
job is,
Yes.
especially to a campaign that doesn't have that much
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
like
And
we have 1 week
especially
before the first presidential debate. So how are you
mhm.
feeling? Let's gauge your current feeling for the FilAms for Harris. What's the temperature gauge for the
Yeah,
campaign
I
so
mean,
far?
I'm excited. The energy is definitely there. Um, when we were at the DNC, it was the most like chaotic experience of my life. No sleep. Everyone was just like working around the clock, putting out content. We were trying to do press releases like every single day, put out a video, photo post every day, and it was worth it because I was literally in line to enter the convention, and I would overhear other Asian Americans attending that were just in line saying, "Oh yeah, the Filipinos have been really active." Isn't that crazy? So it's cool to hear like it was worth it. Like people were seeing our efforts.
Awesome, awesome. So tell me. I mean, you jump real quick to the Democratic National
Yeah.
Convention because I saw all the
Yeah, yeah,
pictures,
yeah.
and I mean the FOMO was real for me because
Yeah.
Chicago's my hometown.
Oh,
But
really? You should have
yeah,
came through.
I wanted to, but I just got a new job, so it was hard for me to like
Oh,
get time
okay.
off.
Yeah. Timing. Got it.
Whatever. I experienced
Next
it.
time,
I
four
felt
years.
the energy, and for re-election, I'm gonna be
Yes.
optimistic. I'm gonna
There you
put it
go.
out like that. I'm gonna put it like that. I feel like the next Democratic National Convention will be a re-election convention,
I think
hopefully.
so too.
Yeah. Um. We but I want to know how you were a former ballet dancer.
Yeah.
You 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 were the Miss Columbia University. No, but
Yeah. Sure.
how did that Filipina turn
Yeah.
into someone who represents Stephen Raga and helps Stephen Raga
hmm
get elected as the first Filipino American in New York ever
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
elected office, and also now being part of the FilAms for Harris campaign? How
Yeah.
what's that journey? Tell
The
me that.
journey, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess for me, growing up, my family was always very involved in the Filipino American community. Um, in Charlotte, North Carolina, that's where I grew up. There's not a lot of Filipinos at all, but we were
Charlotte?
very organized. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, there's not many. It's pretty white out there. Um, but we had a very organized community organization, and so like I grew up in there doing like performances and cultural events and whatever, and like my mom was like the president at some point. So once I was done with my dancing era and I was going to college, that was like the first thing I was looking for. It's like, okay, where's the Filipino club? Sign me up. And I like fell in love with it. That was like where I made all my friends, and I was progressed like through the board, became like president of the Filipino club, and really involved, just like putting on events and organizing to just get like our community visible on campus. And then when I graduated, I just like, of course, wanted to continue doing that type of work. So I started like, okay, the first organization I joined outside of college was Filipino American National Historical Society, FONS, because I had met Dr. Kevin Udall was a huge supporter of us at Columbia. He would always he was willing to help like speak at our events for free and just like really help like with our programming. So
He's amazing.
he pulled me into FilAms when I graduated, and from there it grew into other organizations. And FilAms is actually how I met Steve. In 2019, we were both receiving awards at from FilAms for the Filipino American History Month annual awards. And yeah, that's the first time we met. And then, we were like chatting another time when we were hanging out. It's like, yeah, I might be running for office. And I was like, oh, sign me up for volunteering. Like, I definitely want to be involved with that. And that's kind of how it started. He called me up a few months later. Hey, so remember our conversation? I'm going to be running now. So if you want to volunteer, like, now's the time to start. And it's kind of how it started. That was like my first entry into the political space, I guess, within New York. And that's what like grew into progressive roles since there.
So now you're a national part of the FilAms for Harris campaign. You've helped be an integral part of getting Stephen Raga elected in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance we might see a candidate Michelle one day?
I mean, I've been getting asked that a lot. Maybe one day. We'll see.
Oh, we got a maybe.
We
heard it here first. We heard it here first at Miscellaneous. No, because I think I really do feel like you've been a leader since from jump. Sounds like. And,
thank you.
And it's really, I mean, you even got my goofy ass in line when we were doing the karaoke event.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, we got to do all these documents and you got to fill out all these things. And okay. I'm like, I don't ever want to be a politician, but I do want to help. No, but I do want to get if my comedic voice helps in any way to get your word out and to get Stephen word out and to get everybody else's word out. I mean, that's what this platform, Miscellaneous and Brown, is all about. And that's why I'm so happy and honored to have you on the show.
Thank you.
But I want to kind of, now that I have you here and we are talking and I'm looking at this picture that we have, it's kind of like almost like a mock debate because you got a crotchety old dude and a young, vibrant, progressive politician, and talking to each other, and no, but I'm really excited because I am very much wanting to speak to your generation of Filipinos, and I know that you're the national communications co-chair, so you would know how to communicate to young Filipino Americans. So what would be your first message for the election? But not even just for the election, just for getting involved as a Filipino American in politics and your community. What would be your advice or what would you want to say first to maybe somebody who's watching this who's interested in it but it hasn't made the leap?
To just get involved in general. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like you can't just like sit there and complain. You have to actually like do something, right? Isn't that what Michelle Obama said at the DNC? Do something. How many times did she start chanting that, And it's just like, you just do your part. The simplest thing is to vote. At least do that. But like, if you want to have even more substance, you can find a way to like volunteer, get involved with like local efforts, because it starts in the local level. It's not just the presidential elections, right? It's like you want it to really make change. You have to be involved in like all the way up and down the ticket.
If you want to get the first Filipino elected in New York,
exactly,
you got to be involved on the local level.
That doesn't just
and speaking
happen.
of local level, you're at what? Shout out where you're at, because the hustle and bustle of this Filipino American business, I want to give them their due and shout them out.
Yeah, shout out. We're in Long Island City at Concept Coffee, Filipino Cafe. It's brand new. I think it's new. This
everything
is my first
has a reason. There's a purpose behind everything, guys. Look at that. We even give a shout out to Filipino business while we are doing Miscellaneous and Brown. Now, I don't need a sponsor. I'm happy to just support by giving them a shout out, and hopefully they gain a little bit of followers. Hopefully we gain a few followers, because Michelle, you know how to get followers, because you got 1,000. Well, look, FilAms for Harris, boom, 1,000 followers, 2,000 followers on TikTok. I mean, that's people underestimate the knowledge and the skill that is needed in order to
the
do
work.
something like
That was
and the
something
work
I
that
also
goes into
didn't.
that.
I didn't realize how
Talk
much
about that.
work goes into that. I mean, so when I started, basically the day that it was announced that Kamala was going to be taking over the ticket, that's when the national co-chairs texted me and were like, we need your help. It's all hands on deck. And they were like, we need people to help run media. And the other co-chair is Marilyn Abelos, also from New York, very active historically within the Filipino American community. And she's a member of the Filipino American Press Club. So she's very focused on like the relationships with the ethnic media and the journalism, like those platforms. So that's why they wanted to bring me in as a counterpart to help with more of the like the digital side. So I'm like helping to write our press releases, doing our social media, and it was a lot of work. Putting out press releases, creating graphics, putting together photo posts, and it would not have been possible without a team. So when I got to the DNC, the national co-chairs had selected 2 volunteers. They're both in the Bay Area, Camille and Angela. They're both active with Lead Filipino. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No, not yet, but I will.
Yeah,
I will
they're
have them
Lead
on the podcast.
Filipinos,
Why not?
very focused on like civic engagement within the Filipino American community. Yeah, they're excellent, and that was like without them, it wouldn't have been possible to do all of that work. Like we immediately had to do. It was like I was writing press releases, Camille was like doing graphics, Angela was doing reels, and like together we were able to like put out content like at least 2 posts a day during the DNC. And I think that made the difference. We were able to be super visible, have a lot of momentum. So some of our videos on TikTok got like 20K views already, and I was like, okay. And it was really, it's so worth it, you know, because obviously I feel like within the organizing space, it's actually kind of like a small bubble. And then you realize there's so many other Filipinos out there that like obviously care about the same thing as you, but they just haven't been connected with these like structured organizations yet. I was looking through all the comments on TikTok and it's like, oh my God, I found my people. They're like, how do I get involved? So I'm like DMing each of them. It's like, here's the volunteer link, like sign up and then you'll be connected with your like region. And we wouldn't have found any of those people without TikTok or without Instagram, right? Because we were just using like an old existing MailChimp list from previous campaigns. So it's like people already have their emails, but that's different from like a whole new generation of people that are super excited in a way they haven't been for any other presidential election. And now we're able to get them involved.
That's the amazing
power of
part.
Social media is crazy.
It really is. It really is the power of social media, and you've harnessed it. And I think you harnessed it back when we were working with Steve, because you know, Steve and I, we met at a MAFA conference, I think back in my mini Pacquiao days. So like 2012, maybe 2011. MAFA, the Midwest Association of Filipino. I don't even know what the MAFA stands for, to be honest. I never knew. They just said, Erick, come here and perform. And I was like, cool, I'll do that. And I did. Nice. And I met Steven there. And I was so impressed by this Filipino dude who was in his 20s, who had just graduated from Harvard and was interested in my comedy. And I was like, what? Huh? What? Why you're smart. Don't listen to me. Right. No, but we ended up really striking a conversation and really having a good time. And because my comedy has always been about that. It's always been about, you know, Filipino Americanness, Filipino American stories, Filipino American history. You know, that's always been where I live, just because that's where I started from in Chicago. I was a political science minor in college, and I was supposed to be a lawyer, and then disappointed my parents. And when I decided that I was like, oh, I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be on LA Law. Oh. And now I'm dating myself, but that show was on when I was a kid, and I wanted to be on a TV show. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to, be a dramatic lawyer litigating my case for my on a dramatic TV show.
Important, regardless, because I mean it's the same theme as like why we care about getting Filipinos in office as well, right? You can apply that to any industry, any sector. It's just about making our community visible,
Exactly.
you
And
know,
telling our
and that
stories.
telling our stories, making sure we're getting the like recognition and respect that we deserve proportionally. We're the third largest Asian American group in the country. Would you know that? By if you're looking at the visibility of our cuisine, our culture, our presence on executive boards, our presence in office? No, right?
But it's
So
changing. It's
it's
changing
definitely
really
changing
quickly.
because
It's
of
changing really
efforts like
quickly.
this, like people now
Yeah.
putting in the work to say, okay, how do we get in whatever respective space I care most about? Like, how do I get my people more visible? And it's so much has changed in just even the last like 4 or 5 years. And I feel like for me, at least personally, that's the underlying reason why I'm involved in like any many organizations or volunteer capacities because I want us to be more visible.
Well, you know, it's the trip about your background and how you and Steve met at FANS and how the
Mm-hmm.
Filipino American National History Society or Historical
Mm-hmm.
Society has been such a huge galvanizing community all across, because I
Yeah.
remember them being oh no, we lost her. Oh, there she is. She's come back. She's come back.
Sorry. Is
No,
that
you're good. You're good.
a
No,
service
you're good.
issue?
I was like, oh
Okay.
no, what happened?
Oh
But no, we're good.
no. We're
No,
back.
but I remember Estrella Alomar, who rest in peace. She just passed away a couple years ago, a couple of months ago,
It's a
probably
Fonz
earlier
OG.
this year. She was she was a chair for Chicago's brand, and
Okay.
she set up a booth for one of my first performances when I came back from LA.
Wow.
And she sat next to my parents, and then I shouted her out after she passed a month after I filmed my first full length special
Mm-hmm.
to a sold out house that was also helped by Fonz in Chicago
Mm-hmm.
and Lucky Siap and all the people, and
Oh,
now
I know
they're,
Lucky.
everybody knows
Small
Lucky.
world. Everyone knows
Lucky's my
Lucky.
guy. Everybody's you're lucky to know Lucky. That's what I say.
You're
And
we'll
no,
send him
but
this one.
shout out to Lucky and the Asian scene Chicago
Mm-hmm.
online and
Yeah.
Circa Pintig and Ginger Leopoldo, who's now the new co-chair, the chair of Chicago's national the historical society there.
Oh,
It is,
the chapter there. Okay.
yeah, the new chapter, or not
Yeah.
new, but after Estrella passed,
Mm-hmm.
Ginger took over, and
Yeah.
it is they've been nothing but they've just helped me and blessed me
Mm-hmm.
every time I've gone back home to
Yeah.
Chicago.
Fonz is
and
truly
and
like family. Like
they
I view
really are.
Fonz as like my OG organization. I'm always gonna feel like the first one that like got me
And
involved.
I'm also honored to even when people from Fonz acknowledge and you're like, oh, this comedy clip, or they come to see an event, or they're at an event and they acknowledge, that's
Mm-hmm.
trippy for me, because I always try to plan most of my events in October,
Yeah.
because
For Filipino
Chris.
American History Month. Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, Filipino American History Month is not about celebrating past history; it's about making new
Mm-hmm.
history.
Mm-hmm.
And this October, I feel like is going to be a little bit
Oh yes, they
stupid.
announced the theme. I don't have it quite memorized, but it's about active resistance. Is that correct?
I'm saying, I don't know. I didn't.
Yep.
I haven't gotten the theme yet. I know
Yes, I
that
just
my
saw the
theme is
post a few hours
always
ago.
my theme is always a little bit of dangerous resistance and going against the grain.
Yeah.
I mean, for real, I'm a little. I always like to lapu lapu energy. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I might sometimes I feel like if I look back on my comedy career and how I've
Mhm.
dealt with politics, I'm sure that I rub a lot of people the wrong way, but that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That's kind of how, if you don't like it, then you're probably
Mhm.
not going to be a fan of the rest of the show. So you probably should just stop listening,
Right.
because I'm going to stand on my 10 toes down all
Mhm.
the time on the stuff that I believe in, because I believed
Yeah.
it since I was a kid. and
Yeah.
especially the
And
stories and
comedy is
Filipino
like the
Americans.
perfect vehicle for that. Like it's like the perfect vehicle to sort of maybe challenge someone's ideas or make them uncomfortable, but in a way that's okay, but you can laugh about it.
You know what's a trip is that there are like 3 projects coming in October and also one coming in a couple of weeks that I can't even talk about. That is exactly what because I got picked to be a part of a debate panel of a rather
Ooh.
big YouTube web series that I can't mention yet because I signed a
Ooh.
disclosure, so I can't say more than
Okay.
that. But I am
But
part
we'll
of
know
a.
soon.
You will know soon that it is going to be filmed after uh, the VP and the Orange Ones debate.
The orange one. Yeah.
And then so I'm going to be on a debate panel representing Kamala Harris and
Nice.
Harris voters and Harris Walls voters, and I'm
And
going
then
to
there
be
will
debating.
be someone representing the Trump side, a
Apparently,
comedian.
I don't. I'm guessing maybe
Okay.
I don't know because we like in the debate with VP Harris, we don't know whether
Yeah,
homie's going to show up either. So I don't know if
that's
there's going to be other
true.
people showing
What
up.
are the chances it's like canceled?
If I were a betting Filipino, which I am not, because you know
Okay.
how bad that
Yeah.
road is. Rhymes
Straight
with
gambling.
Filipino, y'all. Stop gambling. It's not good for you.
Yeah,
But
it's
anyway,
not good for us.
it's not good for you. Um, but if I would say 60-40, he doesn't show.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I
I think
could
he's going to
see
show
if he doesn't want to
because
risk
he's
it.
like the manly man, and he's going to show. I feel like he's going to show, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure anymore about the debate. I don't know what to say. I know she's going to she has the litigation and the prosecutory
Hmm.
skills to eviscerate him.
Right.
But will the mediators and the mics and all the
Yeah.
other stuff allow for that? I'm always worried when it's on camera.
Yeah. And the other thing is, obviously, she has those skills to eviscerate someone, but that's also when you're debating with someone normal. And I feel like there's a
Correct.
risk because he doesn't play by any rules or respond in a logical way. So it's almost hard to fight.
I mean,
So
he
I'm
talked
hoping it
about
still works
bacon
out.
being
But
connected to wind power.
yeah,
Nobody's eating bacon, and then but if the wind doesn't blow, then there's no power. I don't
yeah,
know
like
where.
yeah.
I was an English major in college, political science minor, and I'm
But that's
trying.
like, but that's a strategy. It's like if you just spout random crap that like, but sounds crazy, and you say it confidently, it like
No,
distracts
he
from the
called it
fact
a
that you.
weave. Remember, it's a weave.
Is that like the
Yeah,
technical?
look for the clip.
It's
Look for the clip because
okay.
he's like they say that it's all random, but I'm talking about this subject, and then I switch to this subject, and then I switch to this subject, and then I
It's
weave
on
it all
purpose, so you
together.
forget.
So it's
Yeah,
on purpose.
maybe.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous. No, it's not. It's babble.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
and it's hard
ridiculous
to
babble.
use reason and logic against that. So
It
hopefully, it's
is. It is.
still a productive debate.
But
We'll
I
see.
think, like the prosecutor that she is, she will allow for the person that she is cross-examining
Yeah,
to hang themselves. And I think that's
yeah.
what the whole campaign has been about. Now it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, don't shut
Oh
him up.
yeah,
We want the mics to be on because we want to hear
yeah.
what he's going to
That's
say
a
because he's crazy.
and speaking about the campaign and going back to communications, it's like their communication style is so different from how even Biden's campaign was. The press releases are so funny. It's always just like what which Gen Z was in charge of like publishing this press release. Like I love it. It's such a different style. It's like to the point. It's you know how they used to say, oh, Michelle Obama used to say it when they go low, or we go high, but now it's like, no, we're done with that. It's not that we're going low,
No,
but now it's like, okay, we'll fight you
no,
rather than trying to be like,
it's not a matter of going low. It's a matter of fighting
yeah,
back.
yeah,
And
exactly,
it's standing up to a bully. And
yeah,
as one of my first long comedy piece was called Fight Club for One. It was all of the my battles against bullies as growing up as a kid, and
mm,
and battling a bully. You can only turn the other cheek so many times with a bully,
right,
because they're
Exactly.
just gonna keep hitting you. So eventually you got to stand up and you got to be like, oh, yo, homie, let's go.
Mhm.
Let's
Mhm.
you want to go? Okay, you're weird,
Yeah.
and see how
I
hard
was just gonna
and,
say
and,
that.
and see what
So
happens.
simple.
See,
Calling them weird.
you're
And
weird.
they disintegrated
I'm not
already.
weird. I'm not weird. JD's weird. You're not. I'm not weird. Yeah,
Oh my
sure you are.
god. Genius.
You're weird, homie.
Letting that take over.
Yeah. And even I loved what she said when he was like, Kamala just turned black. When did she turn black? And then Kamala was like, yeah, same old, same old. Next
Yeah.
question.
No, yeah.
I loved
Like,
it,
don't even entertain it.
which is brilliant,
Hmm.
brilliant because it's a nonsensical argument. Of course, she's been identified as a black and Indian woman her whole life, a biracial person, and of course, speaking as Miscellaneous Brown,
Hmm.
not Trump is not the only one who tries to identify and define who you are as a
Hmm.
person on the Republican side. That is a tactic and a thing that Republicans and
Yeah.
people who feel insecure or inferior in their own self try
Hmm.
to do in order to
Yep.
make themselves feel superior to you
Yeah.
by I mean
It's
it's
a sign
unfortunately
of
been my whole
weakness.
life,
Hmm.
like because I mean, even I made the joke of it this weekend that so I told you I got a new job, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, so I'm waiting tables at Burbank Airport. I can walk there. It's a great job. Shout out to Burbank Airport. Shout out to Lunchbox. I love this job. No, I really do. It's really great.
I don't think I've ever flown into that airport.
Yeah, I love Burbank Airport because it's where I fly out of too. So like now I know
Yeah.
everybody behind the scenes. So I might not even
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
pass through TSA with show my ID. Anyway,
Nice.
no, I'm just kidding. I probably still will. Well, I'm going to edit that out. No, I'm not going to edit it
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
anyway,
TSA is gonna flag you down.
I I've already been told that I cannot work for TSA because so it's okay. No,
Oh my god.
but I was waiting on a couple of Filipinos, and
Okay.
this was fortunately right before my sold out show in San Diego at Ube World. I was working in the morning, and then I was going to drive to San Diego at night, and
Yeah.
I was waiting on this couple of Filipinos, and the man in the pair swore up and down, "You are not Filipino. You cannot be. You
Really?
do not look even a little bit Filipino.
Oh
You're
my
not."
gosh.
And then I was like, bro, my mom and dad are from Manila, taga Sampaloc, at San Andres. And he was like, oh, you might really
He's
be
like,
Filipino.
oh.
I'm like, and then I pulled out my Instagram and I showed him and I'm like, I am Filipino.
Like, I
I am
got them.
Filipino. I'm Filipino, Michelle. Just go, ah. I love it. You're good. You're back.
Yes.
You're immediately back.
It's like,
No, but
here.
so I made the joke.
Mhm.
I was like, how I felt like Kamala Harris because
Like
Filipinos are
people
telling
questioning
me
it.
when when and if I'm Filipino, and I felt like when these people who are, and I'm not going to put that insecurity on those Filipinos. Filipinos just like
Right.
to, I always have my easy comeback to that when Filipinos say I don't look Filipino. It's because yeah, I
Mhm.
know, masyadong pogi. It's okay, I understand.
I
No,
feel
but
like I've also gotten like some people, they're surprised that I'm full Filipino. I'm like, really? I
are
don't know.
you
What do I look like?
100%
They'll
Filipino?
be
Are you
like, yeah. They're like, oh, really?
mestiza?
I'm like, no, I did my 23andMe. I'm like 95% Filipino. It was really boring results. I was like hoping for some chaos, but
See, and my sister did it already, so she was like, "Save your money. We're Filipino,"
yeah.
which is cool. I know, and but that to me, what Trump when Trump did that at the national, black press, whatever, that it really hit me because
Mhm.
that's something that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
You're not this. You're to this. You look Hispanic. You're not Asian
Mhm.
enough. You're not, whatever it
Mhm.
is. And who are you to tell me?
Right?
Just in the same way, just like Kamala Harris did. Just same old, same old. This same old tactic that insecure people have because they don't know who they are. They're
Mhm.
gonna tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And and that to me was just a chef's kiss of her campaign, and I feel like that's Kamala herself responding to it. Like, enough of this mess. This is stupid. We have much bigger, more pressing issues to talk about. And when she starts talking about first-time home ownership, and I'm in California and you're in New York talking about home ownership. Woo!
Oh my God. Actually, can we just talk about this? Because I'm like a housing nerd. And this is the first time that like a pro-housing message of YIMBYism, like build as much housing as we can to address the housing shortage, has ever been such a prominent focus on a presidential like campaign. When I at the DNC, when she said like, and we need to build more to address the housing shortage, my jaw dropped because I was like, I thought this was just a thing we nerded out on Twitter about, but now it's on the national stage. So I'm
for me,
really
when she talks
excited that's part of her
corporate
platform.
corporate garb, what's the word I'm looking for? But the corporations who buy up housing and then raise the rent and raise the pricing. But that part of it that's a big deal here in California. There's a lot of people raising the price of.
That's actually such like a small percentage of the problem. The biggest problem that's affecting housing prices going up is truly the lack of supply. And that boils down to restrictive zoning. Did you know in majority of California, it's illegal to build like condos on majority of the land? Like it's zoned.
Girl, I live in Burbank, I know.
Home only. Yeah. So it's like
you can't even remodel your home without making it a multi-unit building.
Yeah. So
like it's stupid.
Like, those are the real issues like that are causing things to just be so expensive because it's just like a simple supply and demand issue that needs to be addressed. I love that they're starting to talk about that a lot in New York as well. Like they try to convert a lot of existing office buildings. Since COVID, a lot of that is not needed as much, and they're now finally passing the laws to allow those buildings to be converted to housing. So
that's awesome.
We're getting there.
I'm so glad that you know more about this I'm sure that you know a lot about all the political issues more than I do, but that's okay because I only look about stuff that I can talk about. No, but I'm so glad that we could talk about this in depth because it is a big issue for a lot of people from your age to my age who have been struggling because this generation, this generation after our parents that immigrated here, we aren't able to afford a house. And I feel like that part of the American dream is almost lost to our generation. And I feel like Kamala giving us that. And I hate when I say her first name because I want to give her respect. VP Harris, when she mentions the housing, it really does hit home.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Literally.
I guess.
No. Yeah.
We might have a clip there. We might have a clip. Oh no, she's gone again. All right, she's back again. All right, it's cool.
Yeah.
That internet of yours is precarious.
I know, my bad. I'm almost wondering, should I go off Wi-Fi and just go off?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're good. Because this is the raw. I don't ever edit my audition. My auditions.
Oh, really?
I edit my auditions, but I don't edit my podcast. No, because this is our conversation, and I love that it is veered towards this, an in-depth discussion of housing and which is a big issue for Kamala Harris, and I think is a big issue for Filipino Americans, especially of our generation. But
I agree.
What I wanted to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say one thing I feel like people almost don't realize is like the housing security is like related to so many other issues. It's like my ability to get to my job, my ability to get to my grocery store. Like, I don't know, everything is related. Like the schools that I'm allowed to access based off of like how my area is zoned. All of this stuff is related to housing. And it's like, if we can address the housing issue, you can address quality of life issues and equality issues like all across the spectrum.
It's the basic, it's the basics. It's healthcare. It's housing, and it's it's your way of life, and hopefully getting a
Mhm.
chance to improve that way of life, that, you know, instead of getting by, getting ahead.
Mhm.
It's ingrained.
Mhm.
These are things that I've been hoping a politician would say for a long time, but in a practical way where, you know, as much as I believed in Bernie, and I believed in the whole progressive and almost
Mhm.
communal way of sharing money and sharing wealth, I
Mhm.
understand with America's greed, it's going to be hard. You got to
Yeah.
deal with the greed of a lot of these corporations and a lot of
Mhm.
these billionaires that want to hold on to as much of their money so they can fly a penis rocket or ruin Twitter.
It will ruin Twitter. That's the worst. The worst thing.
I mean, that's the worst part of it. Like, he took something that was really fun for a lot of people, and
Yeah.
frankly, a lot of artists were monetizing
Mhm.
and helping them to create a platform for themselves, and he ruined
Yeah.
it. And he took it, and he
Yep.
selfishly took it upon himself. And now apparently he's got an algorithm that makes it so if you're on X,
Mhm.
you
Yeah.
have to see his tweets. And that was the
Is
whole
that
point.
why? I'm like, I don't even follow this dude, but for some
Now
reason,
I
every
feel like that
time
was the whole point of why he bought it, was so that
to
so
amplify
people
his
could give
own.
him correct his own voice.
That
And he
is
spent
peak.
$44
Like,
billion on that.
yeah,
Can you
just so that he
imagine?
can, just so everyone's forced to read his tweets. That's crazy. And I love that X hasn't like stuck. Like, no one calls it
I'm
that.
on Threads, girl. I'm on Threads now. I've been on Threads
Yeah, we're
since before.
protesting.
I deleted my
Are
ex as
people
soon as
really?
I deleted my
People
Twitter
really
as
are
soon
on
as he bought it.
Threads.
Yeah, I'm for real on Threads.
I made Threads. Like, I made an account, but like literally never used it.
You know what happened? You know what, when Threads was activated, and what happened when people started going on Threads was during the Kendrick and Drake battle.
Really
Threads exploded, and everybody started posting
interesting.
on Threads. Yeah, yeah. So I started posting on Threads after that, and
Okay,
got some
maybe
followers.
I
And
gotta give me
yeah,
some comms notes. Okay, gotta
yeah.
tell our communication strategy. We gotta start going on Threads now too.
I mean, it's just another, you know, subs.
Yeah,
I'm looking into Substack too, you know, and posting,
Substack is
you know,
great.
yeah. And there's a lot of newer
Hmm.
platforms that have, you know, germinated because X, you know, is what it is
Hmm.
now. So it's not a, you know, you guys got 2,000 followers on TikTok. You know, I feel like, you know, even TikTok is another
Yeah,
platform, and I'm
it
trying to
is.
figure
It's
that out now
crazy.
because, you know, I don't
I
know how
mean,
to
you
lip.
could do it. You're already doing reels. It's the same thing. You just post it on TikTok.
Yeah, no, and I feel like there's a few clips that we have of this, and
Okay.
we've been talking for
Are
40
we gonna
minutes
go
already.
viral?
You know what? I feel like we're going to, and then FilAms for Harris is going to go viral because of the clips that we have here, and then I'm going
Maybe.
to go viral because of the clips we have here, and then and
Okay.
then and
And our
then
futures are made.
there's more, and then Tim Walls is going to see it, and his kids, and Gus is going to see it. We're going to make Gus cry again because of how inspiring it was.
Yeah.
And then Tim's is going to be touched, and then he's going to reach out. Tim's going to reach out to me on
To
DMs,
go on the show.
and then as a fellow first gentleman, because I call myself the first gentleman because my wife makes more money than me,
Okay.
makes way more money.
Okay. Okay.
I am a broke ass stand up comedian, and my wife is a bank executive, and
Broke
so
artist life. Got
I,
it.
exactly, and so I feel a lot of Doug Emhoff energy. I'm like first gentleman, where I have to defer to my more successful wife. I have a lot
Yeah.
of, so I feel Doug Emhoff in my
Yeah. I
soul,
love Doug Emhoff.
and
First
I feel like
Gentleman
I'm
is
going
a
to
good
meet Doug
title.
Emhoff. He's going to reach out. He's going to reach out. He's going to be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, I feel like you could be my comedy spokesperson
There you
for
go.
less successful men."
I mean, I think he was a pretty successful lawyer.
No, but that's the thing, is he's super successful. That's why
But he's
I
not
vibe with
Kamala
him, because
level of successful.
could you even imagine being able to defer a successful Hollywood entertainment job and be like, "Nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna hang with my wife in the
Yeah, I'm chilling. I'm gonna go
naval
be her cheerleader.
office, you know, whatever, wherever they live, in VP, and soon to be the White
Yeah.
House." I love that. I
Hmm.
love that about,
Love it.
and I love the fact that he's so supportive of her,
He's
because I'm the
so
same way.
supportive.
You know,
You know,
it's
I
really
met
great.
him in the Philippines, of all places. Isn't that crazy?
When did you meet him in the Philippines? How
I
did you meet Doug?
met I met Doug from the Philippines in 2022. I was there for FilPro. Have you heard of FilPro?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was part of the 2022 batch that did their immersion program, and we had an event at like with the U.S. Embassy there, and Doug spoke to our FilPro class, and like he like introduced himself. It's pretty cool. He was very friendly, just like he is in the videos.
He seems super friendly. He seems like a
Yeah.
super cool guy. I'm waiting to be on a Soul Cycle class, and then he's gonna be right next to me, and he's gonna be like,
Yeah.
"Yo, Eric, I've seen Miscellaneous Brown. I like it. Let's just keep going. I know we're both older
Oh
men
my
at the
God.
Soul Cycle class, so let's just keep going. We'll pace each
Isn't
other."
that how he got the call, right?
Yeah,
He was
I was
at
just
Soul
listening to a
Cycle with
podcast about how
with his
he
buddies.
actually missed the call because he didn't have his phone with him in the Soul
Yeah.
Cycle class because you're not
So
allowed
chill,
to.
like such a normal, chill.
And
Yeah.
that's what I want. I want Tim Walls as VP. I want Doug Emhoff, cool, normal,
Normal
in true
people.
to their masculinity dudes that don't have, they can cry, they can love their
Yeah.
sons, they can,
Did you
all these things.
did you
Go
see
ahead.
the Tim Walsh video where he went on Subway Takes?
Subway
Or
Takes?
have you heard of Subway Takes?
No. What is
Subway
this?
Takes it's so funny. You should check it out. It's this guy who just he interviews people on the subway, and they just discuss like a really hot take, and it's like pretty viral on Instagram. And Tim Wallace did the Subway Takes video. Like that's what it's like again with the comms team. Like what genius stuck him on this like viral Instagram like subway take thing. So they're not actually on the subway because it was not a New York subway. I don't know what they were on. Maybe they're on an Amtrak. But he's talking about like what's your hot take, and he was like, my hot take is that like the gutters are like the most important part of home ownership or the most neglected part of home ownership. Like the most normal dude, like, and he's just yapping about cleaning the gutters and like where he buys like his gutter covers and how like the cheese should be inside a burger. Like that was his other hot take. I guess that's
that
the
is a good
Minnesota
take.
thing.
It's a Minnesota thing. I like that take.
Yeah, cheese inside it.
I mean, I'm not too much cheese because I'm Asian, lactose intolerant.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
but still, no. The guy is just so practical and wonderful, and so like I want him to be my coach. Like he reminds me of like the coaches that I grew up with and admired. In high school, he's just that good teacher. Because that's the other thing.
I mean, literally teacher and coach. So.
Yeah, I mean, a vice president who is a teacher, a public school teacher. That's amazing to me. That is amazing.
I feel like Tim Walsh is like literally if someone asked ChatGPT, like, please design the perfect, like, wholesome American white man, and they came up with Tim Walsh.
And then the opposite was true for Mr. Vance. Please give me the creepiest,
please give
weirdest,
me the opposite.
most awkward, non-able to speak to people or order donuts dude ever in life.
So uncomfortable. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, here you go. Here's your option.
Like because I'm new to my job, and so I'm still meeting new people, and now I'm feeling uncomfortable because of JD Vance. I'm feeling uncomfortable and asking, how long have you been working here? I feel uncomfortable asking that because I feel like it's an awkward question now.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
He made it weird. He ruined such a normal thing.
Like he couldn't even order donuts. Like he couldn't even give specifics. Like you gotta be specific when ordering donuts. You can't just give somebody give me some cinnamon rolls and give me some with the sprinkles. There are a lot of different donuts with sprinkles. You're forcing a person as a donut worker, speaking from somebody who works in the food industry.
As a donut worker.
I'm saying you better choose the color of the sprinkle and do you want the chocolate sprinkles? Do you want the vanilla sprinkles? Do you want the fully sprinkled? Do you want just the top of it sprinkled? There's a lot of different options.
Or he could have just asked, like, what are your favorites? Like if he didn't then that.
But why would he care about what that person at all? Like the follow-up to that, just JD Vance, if you are in any event crazily watching this and have watched it all the way through and minute 44 and you're watching this, use this as some advice. A good follow-up question to how long have you been working here is, do you like your job? Do you have another job, or
Instead of
maybe,
just stopping.
or what are your dreams? Is this your? Do you want to be a manager, or do you have other goals besides this? It's pretty easy to try
Like
and
just
get to
have a
know someone,
conversation. Yeah.
but okay,
You
good
think
is
he
a
would have
good
been trained
response.
a little bit more? Like, I'm just so confused how you can be that awkward at that level. Like, don't you have a team of like PR people that are like coaching you? Like, what's the excuse? You know,
There is no excuse.
there is no
No, there
excuse. He's
really is
just
no
that
excuse.
bad. It's just that
And it,
bad.
it
Like, it
really
can't be
is.
helped.
The excuse is Peter Thiel has a lot of money and Donald Trump needs money. And so Peter Thiel was given license to choose who his VP was. That's basically what that whole thing boils down to.
I feel like
But,
they're regretting it. Like, they're regretting that choice. Like,
I mean,
shit.
when
Weird.
I would have been scared of this campaign is if they actually knew what they were doing. If they actually knew what they were doing, they would have picked Nikki Haley as their VP.
But
If
I
they
don't think she would
actually
have
knew what they
wanted
were
it.
doing. What are you talking about? She endorsed him. She would have done it.
But
Yeah.
before that, she was very like.
Of course. Yeah, when she was
Against
running
him.
against him, but then when she dropped out, she immediately endorsed him.
Interesting.
She totally would have picked the VP.
It's all a
That
game.
whole Republican nomination process was all everybody running for VP.
Yeah.
Up to and including Tim Scott's fake marriage.
God, I forgot about that.
He married that lady, that poor lady. She looked so scared in all their wedding photos. But anyway,
Like,
you see, I talk about the dumb stuff. No, but Michelle, it's been a joy to talk to you, and we need to talk before the election is over. And also, there's another thing that I've been told not to talk about yet. But
okay.
you know how we're supposed to make a history in October?
Yeah.
I will be in New York in October.
When in October?
But I can't tell you the dates or why yet until I'm given permission.
Okay.
But it is going to be a very big Filipino American event that you will definitely want to be a part of and be in the audience for, because it's going to be in October, and there might be some banana ketchup involved.
Hopefully, I'll be here.
That was a little hint. That's all I'm going to say. Don't say anymore. Don't say anymore. I'm not supposed to talk about it.
Okay, I didn't hear anything.
Okay, but anyhow.
Okay.
But this is just the first, because I want you to be on all the time. Because look at this. Quick 45 minutes and we talked a whole bunch of different issues.
Dang,
we got your background. 47. We were on 47. We normally go like 45, 50 minutes. And the first time on the show where you're blazing through, we know all about you, your history, but also I'm so excited to get to know and get down in on the issues with you. Because we talked about the housing and how you're kind of a housing nerd, as your own words. And the fact that you responded to Kamala's VP Harris I'm going to stop, because that is a thing that we all do, that everybody, even in the media, calls her by her first name. And I feel like that should stop. VP Harris, or
I feel like
VP,
there's been different like analysis of like
they even did that with Hillary. Look, I just did it again.
But I think
they don't call women by their titles.
Okay with it, because like they're leaning into like Kamala, like they like the posters say Kamala, whatever. They're not. You know what I mean?
Yes, but put some respect. That's all I'm gonna say. That's what I'm trying to do. True. That's what I'm trying to do, because we don't do that. I don't call. I say President Obama. Yes, I say Michelle, but Michelle. Everybody calls her Michelle. Nobody calls her First Lady Obama. I mean, that's weird. But everybody calls her Michelle because everybody loves her. Like they know her by her first name. But
you're iconic already.
As far as VP Harris and the vice president, we really should, because she's been very presidential. So we should put a little bit of presidential on her name whenever we mention her.
Practice.
So that's
kind of my.
I'm gonna start. That's gonna be my promise till at least November 6th. And then I'm gonna be like, Kamala's my president. She's my president. You know how much I love that song, Freedom.
It's so good.
That song, Freedom.
Like the perfect campaign song. Genius. Whoever selected that, like, perfect.
And just so you know, Michelle, my plan for your third appearance on Miscellaneous Brown is we're gonna sing. You're gonna sing Freedom, and then
What
I'm
are we
gonna rap
singing?
Kendrick.
We're gonna sing Freedom. I have this
Yeah,
responsibility now to sing
yeah,
Beyonce
yeah,
on camera.
yeah,
I don't know about
yeah.
that.
You're gonna go back to
Maybe
the
we'll have to
cafe,
rehearse. I need to go find like a karaoke
or
place
maybe we'll film
to
it when I'm in
practice.
New York.
That I like that. Okay, that gives us like a month.
And it'll be like,
also,
just on the timing, just so you kind of know, it probably is gonna be in October, a few weeks before the actual election. So it should be a really good time, and we could probably,
okay.
joint event everything up and make it a really
Yeah,
big,
definitely.
wonderful
I love the
event.
chaos of October in New York. Like there's an event every single week. It's crazy. Multiple events per week.
And I can't wait to feel that New York energy again,
Yeah.
because it's so vibrant and wonderful. And shout out your cafe again that you're at.
We are at Concept Coffee, Long Island City. Filipino coffee drinks. They got a buko pandan latte. They got ube matcha latte. It's really good.
And also, before we go, shout out if people have been listening this long for an hour with us, then they're interested in FilAms for Harris. So tell them where they can find and be a part of FilAms for Harris on Instagram, on TikTok, but also if they want to get in touch and be part of the campaign.
100%. If you want to join, get involved, please go to FilAms for Harris. That's our Instagram handle, Twitter, TikTok. It's the same thing across all of it. And then our link tree's in there with all our volunteer forms, any upcoming events. You can register there. If you fill out our volunteer form, you will get your information will be sent to your regional chair. So you'll start getting information on what's happening in your local area. How can you get involved in the Midwest or West or Chicago or East Coast? Also, shout out to the Filipino American Democratic Club of New York, which is another role I'm on. I'm vice president, and we've been really involved, obviously, with Stephen Raga and just everyone else here trying to get, specifically in New York, our presence known. So, FilAm Dems New York, also follow that one.
I'm gonna tag all of them. Don't worry. I'll put all of them in the little Insta short that we put together. And also follow us here on YouTube at the 1-2 Productions. We are here. We're gonna be doing weekly videos. I've been teasing these comedy videos with the clips, and I'm just having to accumulate a bunch of clips. And there's a lot of clips. So that's coming soon too. So stay tuned here at 1-2 Productions, and we're gonna be doing a bunch of stuff. But Michelle will be back very soon, and Chris will be back very soon, and you're unfortunately stuck with me.
You'll get the whole board, the whole FilAms for Harris.
Yeah, no, we got to have everybody. And you know what? My crowning jewel before the election, the future governor of California.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, Rob.
You haven't lined up? Scheduled?
Not yet. Not yet. I
Okay.
keep teasing it. It's like my tease for every episode. I mention Rob, especially because if you'd have played a drinking game, you'd played a drinking game, and you'd have seen Rob Bunt, and every time you saw Rob Bunta during Kamala Harris's speech,
oh my gosh, right? Why was he on camera so much? That was hilarious.
It's because they're subliminally telling us that he's going to be the first Filipino governor of California. Yeah. He's coming. And
yeah, he was super present. Yeah, very visible.
I'm very excited about it. And Michelle, thank you so much for being on the show. And
thank you for having me. My first podcast.
It's your very first podcast. See, painless. Yeah, except for all the times that internet. You better tell them over there at that cafe to fix their internet, because you dropped a couple times, but it's okay.
I'll let them know. It's okay.
I'm a good host. There was no interruption in the flow. We kept all the whole thing. It's good. So guys, remember, vote, follow FilAms for Harris on Instagram and TikTok and all the things.
Volunteer, get involved.
Or else I'm moving to Canada.
Do something.
I'm moving to Canada, guys. I already got the hat. It's his old Montreal Expos hat. I'm telling you. If she doesn't win, I'm moving to Canada, because I'm already going to start doing some weed shows with Keith Pedro. Keith Pedro got shows in Canada. I'm gonna do shows with Keith Pedro. Shout out to Keith Pedro. So I already got my escape plan if Trump wins.
You got,
But
yeah,
I
you
don't
got
think
the career of everything's already like you got the full plan.
you know, Michelle. We could keep talking, but we're gonna have to end this eventually.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, goodbye.
So thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon. Okay. So it was
Okay,
a joy to see you in person and
yeah,
talk.
thank you. See you next month.
Yeah, next month for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna end the recording.